The Christmas buzz has somewhat faded and the New Year celebration is getting louder. In the midst of all this, one thing remains constant: safety. Don't let your guard down. Don't drink and drive, speed or drive when you're tired. Remember also that gun salutes are illegal, and if you encounter a dispute, don't resort to violence. Let's end 2023 on a positive note. Thank you all for making it Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay with us.
JamaicaEye can help you protect our citizens.
JamaicaEye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
JamaicaEye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to JamaicaEye.gov.jm today. JamaicaEye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Adrian Atkinson and this is your JIS News for Thursday, December 28, 2023. The Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, JCEZA, is anticipating the rollout of major investment projects in 2024. CEO of the authority, Kelly Dawn Hamilton, tells JIS News that work to secure these investments was done this year and the build-out will start next year.
Currently in our pipeline of projects that we anticipate to see rolling out come 2024, we have 47 projects that are across a range of industries. And that is a result of work that has been done this year to really push Jamaica as an investment destination. So we will see those projects coming up out of the ground.
Among the 47 key projects in the pipeline are investments in areas such as sustainable energy, logistics, shipping, agro-processing and manufacturing. The authority is looking at upwards of $4 billion worth of investments for within the special economic zone spaces. The threshold for submission of statutory declarations has been raised from $3.5 million to $12 million. This follows Parliament's approval of the Integrity Commission Total Annual Emoluments Exempt from Statutory Declaration Requirements Order 2023. As a result, thousands of public servants will no longer be required to submit statutory declarations to the Integrity Commission. However, certain categories of public sector workers who may fall between the previous and current threshold will still be required to file their declarations. The resolution was moved in the lower house last week by Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck.
With this increase, instead of 30,000 declarations, it would be reduced to about 10,000.
Public servants at a particular threshold of salary are required to file their assets, liabilities, and income on an annual basis. This indicates to the Integrity Commission that they are not undertaking any activity resulting from their employment in the public service, which is detrimental to the service. The increased threshold was recommended by the Commission in September, as it anticipated a rise in declarations due to the increased salaries of workers under the Public Sector Compensation Review exercise. The National Environment and Planning Agency NEPA is reporting that a small fish kill which occurred at the Rio Cobre River on December 24 is now contained. Approximately 50 fish were seen floating on the river Christmas morning. Upon investigation, NEPA says it was discovered that the pollution was due to a malfunctioning National Water Commission sewage treatment plant at Charlemont in St. Catherine. The defective plant caused untreated sewage to be emitted into the Old John's Gully, which flows into the river. The NWC has since corrected the problem, which was due to a power outage at the plant. Arising from this incident, NEPA said it would be serving the NWC with an enforcement notice outlining specific terms to which the entity must comply. More Jamaicans who have lost limbs due to health conditions or trauma are receiving prosthetic legs and arms under the Ministry of Health's New Limb, New Life program. The $50 million initiative was announced by Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton in his sectoral presentation earlier this year. It was designed primarily to help amputees regain their mobility. Dr. Tufton recently toured at the Sir John Golding Rehabilitation Centre in St. Andrew and observed persons being fitted for the prosthetics. He pointed out that another objective of the initiative was to educate persons about the debilitating effects of non-communicable diseases, as most amputations were due to NCDs, particularly diabetes. A memorandum of understanding was signed on August 16 with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security to identify beneficiaries through the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, JCPD. Applicants for the program must be persons between the ages of 13 and 60 who have lost a limb and are registered with the JCPD. These individuals will be assessed by the Sir John Golding Rehabilitation Centre or a qualified orthopedic surgeon to determine their suitability. And finally, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton brightened the holiday for patients in several hospitals across the island as he visited with Christmas gifts. Among the hospitals visited were Mandeville Regional, Mapen General, Spanish Town, Savannah Lamar and Bustamante Hospital for Children.
It's that time of year again when we visit our hospitals to bring a little smile to our pediatric, our kids. And many of them are unfortunate enough to be in the hospital during this time of year. Hospital is not a good place to be for Christmas, even though they're well taken care of by the staff.
Minister Tufton complimented the hospital staff, doctors and nurses for their excellent work and wished the patients well on their road to recovery.
I want to just use the opportunity to encourage and wish for all persons who become our patients a well enough Christmas. In other words, road to recovery Christmas. And that's what we're saying to the youngsters who are here. So a good day. We brought some joy to the patients.
The Health Minister also brought joy and smiles to mothers at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital who delivered babies on Christmas Day. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
Up next, the Jamaica Customs Agency talks about measures being taken to secure our borders and services being streamlined for efficiency. The details on Finance Matters.
The Jamaica Customs Agency, JCA, has seized dozens of firearms and thousands of rounds of ammunition over the last few years. How were they able to do this? In matters of law enforcement, it is normal to rely on multiple key stakeholders to protect the country's borders. The JCA is, however, tasked with the equitable collection of revenue and protection of Jamaica's borders against illicit imports and the facilitation of trade. But how is the JCA improving its trade facilitation efforts while also protecting the country's borders? Hi, I am Shaquille Rochester Shorter and welcome to Finance Matters. Today I will be speaking with Mr. Kingsley Henry, Director of Cargo Imaging and Security at the Jamaica Customs Agency, about trade management and border protection. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn to see all the episodes and highlights. Mr. Henry, thanks for joining us today. What is customs duty?
When you think about custom duties, you'll be thinking about all the taxes and fees that are levied on imports and exports, right? But those taxes are broken down into individual pieces. So you'll have the import duty, and that import duty is based on what we call the harmonized commodity coding and description system, commonly called a tariff. So if you go on the customs website and you go on trade and you click on the drop down, you'll see what we call the integrated tariff, and that has all the commodities that you can think about that one may want to import. There is a code that is assigned to it, and you will see the customs import duties and all the other related taxes that are levied against that particular commodity.
So that's customs duty.
So all of those would comprise custom duties, right?
So in terms of the Jamaica Customs Agency, what waivers are available to the ordinary person?
You know, and that is a conception or misconception that a lot of people have. And I think, and they come to customs and say, customs, what waiver can you grant? But there's a technicality there, because waivers are granted by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. But on the flip side of that, on the other side, there are exemptions that are available to various sectors. So the government would have reformed the incentives and waiver structure with the omnibus incentives legislation in 2014. And coming out of that, you have different sectors like the healthcare sector, hotel and tourism, the manufacturing sector, the creative industries, particularly music and film, that can get particular exemptions. And information about that type of exemption is also available on our website, but also available on the Ministry of Finance's website and the various ministries, departments, and agencies that have responsibilities for these areas.
To be clear, I, as an ordinary Jamaican, there are no waivers available for me?
I wish, as an ordinary Jamaican, if your granny or your auntie said you're a barrel, I wish there's some waiver, but there isn't for the ordinary, right? But however, a few years ago, the Ministry and Jamaica Customs, in their wisdom, decided, for example, to introduce a flat rate that is applicable to barrels, because you would understand that the barrel trade is a big part of the importation trade for us here in Jamaica. And so if you are importing a barrel with, let's say, regular grocery items, a few items of clothing, and other small household and personal effects, then the general duty rate that is applied to that will be 6,500 plus an applicable customs processing administrative fee.
So what should Jamaicans bear in mind when they're importing goods?
Well, one of the things we want to say to Jamaicans, there's no need to fear customs, right? Because a lot of persons have fear of customs. There's a fear of paying taxes, there's a fear of the interaction. But your best friend when you're importing is information, right? So, for example, if you are going to be importing something, you want to find out beforehand, do I need a license? Do I need a permit, right? And if I need a license or a permit, one of the things you have to be sure is to get the license and permit before the item arrives in Jamaica. Because if you don't do that, then you'll see a side of customs that you don't like, which is the enforcement side, which is levying fines for breach of the regulations relating to importing items without licenses and permits. And then in addition to that, you want to find out what are the applicable customs duty rate. We spoke about customs duties already. What are those rates? Go onto the website and find out if I'm shipping or importing clothing, what is the duty rate? If I'm doing jewelry, what is the duty rate? If I'm doing toys or something, what is the duty rate? And if you have that information, it makes it easier for you. And if you get invoices when you make your purchases overseas, please supply those invoices to customs. If you're using an agent, a freight forwarding agent, or you're using a custom broker, provide them with the correct information so that they can make an accurate declaration to customs. When that is done, the process is seamless both for our officials, but more so for you, the importing public.
So quickly tell us about the process for importing a motor vehicle or motorcycle.
And that's a common question as well, right? One of the things that we want to say to the public, that there's no shortcut, right? Because sometimes there are people out there who may be advertising that there's a shortcut where, that we can get.
So there's none.
There's no shortcut, right? So to import a automobile or a motorcycle, what is required is that you have to get a import license from the trade board.
Okay.
And you must get that license before the car arrives in Jamaica. But the government also instituted a few years ago that there is a requirement for a pre-inspection that must be done in the country of export.
Okay.
So that pre-inspection has to be done, and you have to get that pre-inspection certificate. You also have to get a title or an export certificate from the country where the car is coming from. And very importantly, you cannot clear a car yourself as an individual.
Okay.
You need the services of a licensed customs broker to effect clearance on your behalf. So if you have any doubts and you have any questions, there's information available by the trade board, by customs website, and if you have any doubt, engage a licensed customs broker from early in the process, and they can walk you through and advise you in terms of what you need to ensure that you have a seamless experience when it comes to importing motor vehicles.
All right, so we spoke about bringing in barrels, motor vehicles, etc.
Right.
But what is there implemented at Jamaica Customs Agency to stop or prohibit illegal items from entering the country?
You know, I mean, our CEO, I don't think would be very happy, Mrs. Belmarikis Walker, if I didn't start by saying you'd have seen in the news media recently where Jamaica Customs acquired a boat, Lane Forcer 1, right?
Yes.
And we use that in our maritime surveillance. One of the things that Jamaica Customs has done over the last few years is that we have established in partnership with the JCF marine bases around the island to help us in that maritime surveillance of our unofficial ports.
Okay.
But when it comes to the official ports, one of the things that we place a great emphasis on is the use of risk assessment.
Okay.
So we have systems in place at Jamaica Customs where we're gathering information through intelligence and through our automated system for customs data. And then we are running those information, and we're developing risk criteria, we're developing profile, and we're setting those profile in our system so that the persons who are importing, or the businesses, the majority of which are compliant, will get an easier way through the system, and we can focus on those who are not so compliant. We're also embarking on modernizing our non-intrusive inspection program. Everything that comes into Jamaica.
Explain that to me.
So everything that comes into Jamaica, we have a policy, the national policy, that everything must be scanned.
Okay.
So every shipping container, every piece of equipment that comes through, every barrel is scanned, right? And one of the things that we're doing, we are modernizing the scanners. So we are in the process of acquiring, in partnership with the Port Authority of Jamaica, new up-to-date modern X-ray scanners. And what that will do, it allow us as well to focus on the higher risk cargo.
Okay.
And so if we scan and we don't see anything of particular interest, it makes life easier for you as an importer.
And more efficient.
And more efficient, because it means that our officers can spend less time doing physical inspection.
Yes.
But we do the non-intrusive inspection, but at the same time, there's a whole lot of physical inspection that takes place at JCA. We're building out a K9 program. We're building out our intelligence and our risk management program. So there's a lot that is being done, and we're getting a lot of support from our international partners. We have a very close working relationship with UK Border Force, with US Customs and Border Protection Agency, with the Canadians. We are getting a lot of assistance to build capacity within our agency to make us more effective in protecting the Jamaican people.
So quickly tell us where Jamaicans can find more information to access the services offered by Customs.
Jamaica Customs, like the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, is available in the social media space. So we are on Twitter, we are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram. And you can visit Jamaica Customs website at jacustoms.gov.jm. If you have direct questions, you can send those questions to public.relations@jca.gov.jm, and also quick.response, right, at jca.gov.jm. And our numbers are 876-922-5140, and it goes up to 8. And if you use any of those means, you will get to the correct individuals within the agency who will be able to address your query. And if you don't get to us, we have freight forwarding agents, we have custom brokers that work in partnership with us that can provide valuable information.
Thank you for coming on our program and sharing with us the operations of the Jamaica Customs Agency. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Finance Matters. Remember to follow us on social media at MOF Jamaica And tune in next week as we continue to demystify the economic and fiscal policies and initiatives implemented by the government to empower Jamaicans as we chart a path to Jamaica's economic prosperity.
Out of many, let us all unite. We are one people that will win this fight. Strong against corruption, yeah, this is right. So we should all unite and commit to the fight against corruption, that's the mission. Out of many, one people, there is no division. Seen it clearly, integrity is the vision. Only good can come from a nation that's filled with ambition. It's a must we facilitate growth, cause we want our children's future to be filled with hope. Out of many, let's all unite.
A message from the Integrity Commission.
This next feature is a call to everyone to learn the basics of cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR for short. You never know when this life-saving technique will become useful in an emergency, such as a heart attack or near drowning.
Oscar! Oscar! Oscar!
Though this is a dramatization, it has happened quite often. In the field, at home, or at work, a loved one collapses and is unresponsive. What follows? Usually chaos, confusion, heartache, instead of immediately providing that critical resuscitation technique which may prevent death.
CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. It is a skill that is an emergency skill that is used to revive someone whose heart has stopped beating. Cardiac arrest can happen to anyone at any time. In the event that happens, you need to know the skills that you need to perform to revive these persons or give these persons a chance of survival.
We never know when we'll be in a situation where we need to help someone else. It's really just a little bit of your time, and I think it would be a worthwhile investment in learning these skills so we can render assistance.
Even when someone is choking, the techniques learned in CPR may be applied to save that person from asphyxiation. To release the person's airway, position yourself behind them and clasp your fist at the navel and roll in an upward motion. When someone is unresponsive, that's a whole other ball game. The person may become unresponsive for several reasons. For instance, they could have a medical condition. To really know if someone is unresponsive and in need of CPR,
tap the person's shoulder and shout, "Sir, sir, sir," or "Ma'am, are you okay?" Once the person is not responding to you, and they can respond in several forms. They can answer by moaning, they can groan, they can open their eyes, they can move a limb. If the person is not responding to you, now you need to scan the chest and look if you see breathing. Once the person is not breathing, their terms as being unresponsive. So once you have somebody collapsing, the first thing you need to do is check your environment, ensure that your environment is safe for you. Once the environment is safe, now you need to assess the person who has collapsed. Once someone is unresponsive, has no signs of life, call for help and bare the person's chest. So you remove their upper garments. Find your hand position, it's on the lower half, center of the chest, lower half of the breastbone, and you push in 30 times at the Bee Gees song, that's Staying Alive. Ha, 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 Staying Alive. If you are trained, after 30 compressions, you can give 2 breaths. If you are not trained, you don't know about CPR, you give hands-only CPR. So hands-only CPR is where you compresses the chest. You need to continue that on the way to the hospital, so you're maintaining cells' life.
it's possible for anyone and everyone to learn CPR.
Nannies, construction workers, teachers, lawyers, doctors, everyone should learn CPR. Once you're able-bodied, you can learn CPR.
In terms of age, it's said as young as 12 years old can learn the art to save a life.
So many times, children get in situations that they need assistance. In fact, a cousin of mine, her son was got into some distress. She realized that he wasn't breathing one day, and she was able to help him by giving him CPR. So I think that was really important that she had those skills so that she could assist her son, because who knows what would have happened if she wasn't able to give him that immediate assistance.
This course, I've done it before, and I find it very interesting because I work a lot with children, and one time I have to do a CPR on a little boy because there was leave under my care. And mother wasn't around, and he was eating some plum and playing on like plum seed, stabbing his throat, and I just hear him coughing, but it never very severe because he was coughing. So when he was coughing, I hold him up and I, try to do a little, I understand the CPR, tell him to cough, and he cough and cough until it actually come up.
I had a patient once, and while I was there in the bathroom with that person, the person just fell unconscious, and I was there, didn't know exactly what to do, but I was there saying, "Sir, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I didn't know much, what to do, but I decided to put the person on the side, and I was there trying to stop the person, Then I was saying to myself, if I had known CPR well enough, I could perform it.
The Heart Foundation of Jamaica is one of the several local organizations that offer training in CPR.
The Heart Foundation of Jamaica is an authorized training center for the American Heart Association. We offer CPR training for medical and non-medical persons. We have our scheduled in-house training, and the organization can call us to schedule classes at their convenience.
CPR!
We've come to the end of our show for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we bring another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website at jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.